All right. Well, welcome back, gang. Happy to have Miss Lauren D'Agostino here again for a Wednesday Wellness. We've got some exciting, fun topics today, and I'm going to let Lauren share what they are.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. So good to be back. We are in the swing of summer, are we not? It's been so good to enjoy this warm weather, but I don't know about any of you. It's like fully barbecue season. So I think the topic that I really want to hone in on for today is how to party and stay on track, how to go to barbecues and not totally throw away all the effort you've been making Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday if you enjoy a 3-day weekend during the summertime. How to do that responsibly, right? You can still have so much fun on a clean diet with your clean wine and the clean spirits and all of that. But there are a couple of really awesome strategies. And then I'm going to share with you a couple of my favorite summer recipes that you can bring to these gatherings or that you can just enjoy, outdoors, cooking outdoors, dining al fresco at home. So the first strategy for how to party and stay on track is to drink enough water. Ideally, you drink one full glass of water in between beverages, whatever that is, right? You want to just make sure that, especially in the summer heat, especially out on a boat or out at the beach, that you're keeping yourself well hydrated. You'll feel better at the end of the evening and the next day, so you can keep on doing whatever it is you're called to do this summer. So plenty of water. Doesn't matter if you like it ice cold, room temperature, whatever, just get that in. When you get to a party, remember why you're there. We're not just there to go and eat all the 17 different kinds of chips and dips that people put out, right? Or just to go right for the cake or, eat 17 hot dogs, like whatever it is. Remember why you're there. Are you there for a birthday party? Did someone just graduate from college or high school? Are you reuniting with family or neighbors or people who you didn't get to visit with last year? Are you just getting together for the hell of it? That's a perfectly acceptable reason to gather and celebrate. But why are you there, right? We're not just there to shove our, paper plate full of all sorts of food that's going to undo all the work you've been doing all week. Are you there for good conversation? Are you there to see someone's new property or to just enjoy each other's company? And then I always take a lap around the different food tables, see what's there. And the same strategy can be applied to buffets. I know we kind of came away from enjoying buffets. I was pretty thrilled with that because I think they're sort of disgusting. But if you still enjoy buffets, like out at a hotel or like a continental breakfast or even just a buffet spread at your friend's place where the party might be, see what all your options are. And then once you've taken full view of what your choices are for food, focus on filling your plate up with veggies first. And then whatever coming off of the grill or whatever dip or really guilty pleasure salad, like a potato salad or and that's even not really truthfully that bad of a guilty pleasure. It just kind of depends on what else is in there. Fill it up with veggies, those good veggies first, the salad first, and then go back a second time and grab those things that you really truly love. It's okay to still eat those things, but when you fill yourself with veggies first, you'll get all of that nutrition in, your stomach will start to feel full. And then when you eat those things that you still do love, like let's just say, I don't know, spinach artichoke dip or something notoriously unhealthy, you can still eat that. It's not off limits. You're just going to eat less of it because you've eaten something else first. And then when it comes around time for dessert, try, if you can, have 1 or 2 bites of something. You don't have to eat an entire slab of cake or like a huge bowl of ice cream. Just a little bit will do the trick usually. Right? Our bites are kind of like a bank account. So the first couple deposits tend to be like really fulfilling. But then after that, bite 4, 5, 6, and the rest of the plate or bowl, we don't really notice what we're eating. And before you know it, if you're not eating mindfully, you're instead consuming distractedly. You look down and you say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ate that whole bowl of ice cream. Oops, right? Does that ever happen? So instead, when you pay attention to what it is you're eating, when you pay attention to your surroundings and kind of pick your head up and notice where you are, you're less likely to gorge in on the food, to totally overdo it and then feel lousy and like you need a nap, instead of like you can go and and dance and party and kind of keep on doing the things that you want to do, or suggest, maybe if you're in a neighborhood with people and you go and you eat some food, take a lap around the neighborhood, go for a walk. Or if you're out in nature, go for a little stroll after you eat. That's really a great way to just kind of move the food through your system to help yourself, especially if you do happen to overeat a little bit, to help move it through so that you don't feel like you need a nap. So those are a couple strategies of how to party and stay on track. Remember that we're gathering to be in the company of other people, not necessarily to stuff our faces with food and spirits and wine. Although that can happen sometimes. So when I go to a barbecue, I almost always offer to bring food because it's highly likely that the host is not going to know what to feed a vegan. And it's an opportunity for me to share something that I love with people who otherwise are perfectly content eating hot dogs and Lay's potato chips and store-bought potato salad, or things that like I don't really want to eat, right? So offer, say, oh my gosh, like, yes, thank you, I would love to come. May I bring something? Or I'm going to make this thing that I've been loving lately. I can't wait for everyone to try it, right? Just do that automatically. And then you know that you've definitely got something to eat for yourself. If that's not always possible, have a smoothie before you go, have a salad before you go. If you're not sure what you're walking into, take the guesswork and the mystery out of it and feed yourself beforehand. That way you'll be less likely to eat half a bag of chips by accident, and you just get to go and maybe you grab a handful or two just to give your hands something to do as you're chatting with people. But you're not feeling that insane hunger and that pull to the foods that you know really that you don't want to be eating. Okay, so back to the recipes. A couple of my favorite things. Marinated mushrooms. Portobello mushrooms tend to be the easiest. And when you marinate them for a couple of days, they get soft. The acid, so I marinate in balsamic vinegar and olive oil and garlic. And you can add some extra spices and things in there, like rosemary's really good in there. Marinate them for a couple of days. Use a 2-to-1 ratio of balsamic vinegar to oil. And then any spices that you want. Garlic, the more garlic, the better. And then marinate it at least a couple of days. And then throw them on the grill just like you would veggie burgers. And they are amazing. They're great on top of a salad. They're great in a sandwich. They're great even on top of a veggie burger or something, or just in place of one. And then whatever's left over, you can bring home. They can keep. You can do so many different things with this very basic grillable vegetable. You can also do that same thing with different like chunked up vegetables like zucchini, summer squash. You could even use like tomato wedges or eggplant, or stick some tofu on there, and then put them all on a kebab or a skewer and grill those. You can even buy pre-loaded sticks that are totally vegetables, marinate them, bring them over to a grill, and you're good to go. And people love them, and they're super easy. It's of course very easy and more affordable to skewer your own, but if that's not feasible and you run out of time or something, you can usually this time of year find those just in the produce section, and they're ready to go and they're great. I also love carrot hot dogs. There's a great recipe and I can send that to you, Perla. They're amazing. I'll have to find it and send it your way. But basically similar thing. You're going to parboil some carrots just until they're fork tender and then marinate them. And that's what I'll send the recipe, is the marinade. And then grill them the same way that you would, top them the same way that you would a hot dog, and they are delicious. You can also do some other things on the grill, like grill corn on the cob, delicious. Grab some heirloom tomatoes, crack some salt over them, drizzle of olive oil, and maybe some fresh basil leaves. Amazing, right? We don't have to make our summertime food super loaded with barbecue sauce, super loaded with all of these fancy things. Our bodies actually really like to eat light and bright food during the summer. That's why we have such a variety of beautiful produce that grows, and most of it is very high in water content, like zucchini, summer squash, cucumbers, watermelon, right? Because it's hot out. The sun is beating on us all summer long. We need to eat our water in addition to drinking our water. So the more we go through this summer season, the more important it is to focus on being in the present moment, in the abundance of whatever item is in season. So right now is strawberry season. Eat as many strawberries as you possibly can. Hopefully don't give yourself an allergy, but but really be in the season of the strawberries. Stop at the farm stand. You know, that's where I do my strawberry picking, is just off the farm stand shelf, not in the patch. And eat them for breakfast, eat them for snack, have them after dinner for dessert, muddle them up and put them in your drinks or your cocktails, as we were talking about with the clean wine, neutral grape spirit replacement. Do as many different things as you can with them. Buy some extra and freeze them. They're so much better when they're in season. They're so much better for you. And it's really cool to support your local economy during their busiest season. So often, you know, I'll be at the supermarket and I'll see the strawberries and they're maybe a little on sale and they've got some local strawberries usually in there, but take yourself that extra stop to the farm stand. See if you can support the people in your community, enjoy the food that's been grown locally, and try to incorporate more of that onto your plate. Then we'll transition into, throughout, you know, midsummer, we'll get into stone fruit season. So peaches, nectarines, plums. See how many of those you can eat. Eat these things till you're kind of sick of them, because that's how many you've been eating, right? And then we're ready for the next item. So then maybe we're ready for blueberry season. Like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, it's time for blueberries. Woohoo, right? And then, of course, what you can save in the freezer. If you're into canning, I don't know. Food is so much better when it's been picked and enjoyed in season. Just like in New England, we love each of the seasons, but by the end of summer, we're a little ready for a cozy fall, right? And then when we come out of winter, boy, are we ready for spring. It's because we've been in the season that then we're really looking forward to what's coming next. The same is true for your food. Trying to think what other barbecue staples. Watermelon, of course, cut up some watermelon. You can even blend watermelon with some lime juice and some ice cubes. Makes a really, really yummy drink. You can add spirits or you know, the neutral grape spirit to that if you want to. What else? Of course, fruit. Any seasonal fruit is great to bring. Veggie trays are wonderful to bring as well. Herbs, fresh herbs and fresh citrus over any of this produce during this season is a really great way to stay in the flavor of the food and just keep it as light and bright on your body as possible. And then, of course, when you need something like a more dense salad, consider adding a cold grain to it, like farro or cauliflower rice or cooked quinoa that you keep cool, right? Where during the winter, we might warm those things because our bodies need it to help us stay warm. But in the summertime, we still need any of those for bulk or for protein, but they're generally better when they're cold. So I'm going to pause here and take some questions. That was a lot of information. I'm really hungry for a barbecue now, but I just made my lunch a little while ago that I've got to eat still. But what questions are coming up?
I have one. Some of the fruits, isn't there a high sugar content in there that we need to be kind of cautious of?
You should be mindful of it, but it's going to also come with fiber and minerals and vitamins and water. So you can decide what quantity of fruit works for you. Fruit is also easily digestible on an empty stomach. It tends to, you know, go through the digestive system a little bit differently when it's coupled with oats or granola or non-dairy or dairy-based yogurt. So anytime you can enjoy fruit, I like to say just eat the fruit and kind of let it be. But yes, it does have sugar. And it's nature's candy. So if you kind of see it that way, maybe that helps. I'm not sure. Good question.
And she may have been talking about, like, I'm always like, people are watermelon. Yes, it's amazing, but it is packed with sugar, and particularly like Sue not looking to lose weight or anything like that. Like, we can get away with a little more than people who, but we also will portion size. So it's not like just because the whole watermelon's here, we might have a piece or two, whatever. We're not going to eat the whole watermelon at one sitting, is my point. Mm-hmm. But my question for you, Lauren, when are you going to move closer?
I'm working on it. I know, I'm working on it. Believe me.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm excited to hear about this hot dog recipe.
Yeah, you're going to love it. It's really good.
Me too.
And that's one of the things that I forget about is doing things like the farro and the quinoa and stuff like that cold. I forget about those sorts of things. So thank you for mentioning that, because then I'm like, oh yeah, you can definitely chill those things and then not heat them up again.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to, like, what other questions do you have? That was a great information.
Yes,
Like,
spot on.
super excited to, and we just grilled yesterday for the first time in a while, so finally got things back into working order. I guess another thing that I like to grill is eggplant with big hunks of tomato, grill beside it, and I use the tomato as the dressing, and that's like one of my summertime favorites.
Nice. Delicious. I'm gonna have to do that. I don't eat a lot of eggplant, but I think
I
this
don't
year.
either. It's not really my shtick, but
Yeah.
I love it. I think it depends too on how you cook it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've made some eggplant pizzas before where you like slice the eggplant and make your little pizzas, but that was all right. I think I probably would have skinned it next time because it was like weird.
Yeah. Yep. The skin definitely, because it's a nightshade, it's got that protective layer. Same with the tomatoes, peppers,
Right.
right? So when you don't take that off, it's difficult to chew.
Yeah, and I just remember being like, biting into it. I'm like, oh, that's pleasant. And then like the pull away was like, tink, like a piece of leather, like. But that's why I like experimenting and doing things like that, because you don't know those sorts of things until you totally mess it up, and then you do it again. And
Right. I
Make
usually, like to try things at least twice because I probably screwed it up the
Right.
first time.
Yep.
yeah, that's our saying. I'll try anything twice.
What else? What about you, Sue? What's some of your favorite things in the summertime?
Well, it's funny you mentioned the barbecues and bringing something, and the family just kind of knows automatically now that I'm the one bringing the veggie tray.
Yeah.
Huge
Love it.
veggie tray, and that's what I'll go for.
Mhm.
Because I'm doing it because that's what I want to go for before
Yeah.
I go into the other stuff, but I mean, I like a barbecue. I like a nice burger on the barbecue, but what I tend to do is I'll take the burger and get rid of the roll, kind of
Yeah.
like the roll on the side. I don't really need it, and just eat the burger, which at least that's something that, you can do with that.
Right.
You still get a little bit of the barbecue.
Right. Yep. Yep. And still put like, onions. I like onions, pickles.
Right. You can put some good stuff on it, not junky stuff, but some good
Right.
stuff.
Just
And-
tasty, good, healthy stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So it takes the badness out of it a little bit.
Well,
Right.
it always surprises me how every season people will say, oh, well, it's summer. Oh, well, it's winter. I was like, yeah, it's summer, so we can grill the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's holiday season. Think about all the vegetables we're going to have. Like,
Right.
there's really not a bad season. It just depends on how you want to look at it, right? And how you want to celebrate that season.
Yeah.
Well, especially not around here because
Because we have 4 of them.
yeah, right. Well, I was gonna say just what was I gonna say now? I can't remember. I don't know, it'll come back to me.
But yeah, and I like that water idea in between drinks or in between eating, is really, I'm going to keep that in mind.
Yeah. And just remember that nothing is off limits ever.
Yeah.
Two
Right.
things are happening.
Right.
Yeah, 2 things are happening. Number one, you're filling yourself up with the things that you know are healthy and that you want to eat for your health and nutrition, right? And then what's the second thing that's happening? Now I forget. It just escaped me. It'll come back. But you fill yourself up with those first, and then and then you can eat anything you want, but you're choosing to eat the things that support your health and your wellness, right?
Mhm.
So, when people say, "Oh, you probably can't have that because whatever," you say, "No, I could totally have that if I if I desired, but I don't desire that anymore. That's so empowering and give yourself that credit that you're showing up and that, you're bringing the veggie tray and you're eating as much of that as possible. And probably you set that down, right? At the table at the picnic table and like, that's your plate kind of. So people think you're bringing this veggie tray for everyone. Be like, no, this is for me. Yeah. It's good stuff. Barbecue season is fun.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of interesting too that I'll bring a veggie tray or something like that to an event, and you've got people that bring like 3 mac salads and 3 potato salads, and one somebody makes, and one somebody got from the grocery store, and one's from like the convenience store where they make it special downtown or something like that. 3 different, but it's all macaroni salad, and then it's all potato salad, and I'll bring this veggie tray and you sit it down in the middle of the table. And I think it's hilarious because I can't help but notice like who's kind of having what. And it's this blessing and a curse. And, there's no judgment pass. I'm just noticing like, oh, everybody's really digging this or really liking that. It also comes from my catering background. It's just one of those things that I observe. And I think it's funny how so many people actually gravitate towards the fresh vegetables more so than like these, potato salad and that sort of thing. I just think it's funny how so many people will do that naturally. And I like to see that human behavior when, people will have the mac salads or whatever, but then they're like, oh, I want a couple of cucumbers and a piece of cauliflower or whatever.
I've noticed that too. And even kids, I see the one for the veggie trays.
So true.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I think it was last summer. Crystal and I go to this place. We take our own vegetables. Everybody ate all the vegetables, and by the time we got ready to eat, there was nothing. There was like just crap left.
All the other shit.
And we just looked at each other like, well, guess I'll have another beverage.
I'm like, Josh Adams, you're driving.
Right? Have you had that happen, Lauren?
Yeah, sometimes, unfortunately, it will. Yeah, but kind of to the point that you all were making about people going for the veggies, we go for what's colorful. So even when you're making a potato salad or a macaroni salad, even if you're making it healthier, add as many different colors in there as you can. People eat with their eyes first. We're drawn to color. We can't help it. Just sometimes the comfort and the kind of junk food allure of some of those other things tend to draw us in, or once we start eating them, it can be hard to stop because of the salt, because of the fat, because of the sugar.
Yeah, that's one of the tricky pieces. I try not to because the moment I have something like that, I mean, there's literally a guy, his job, he sits in an office and his job is to make it taste so good you can't put it down. Like there's scientists that literally engineer the food that way. So I find myself totally, I'm like, that guy does a really good job. He's really great at his job because I can't put it down. Right. So that's one of the things I'm like, no, I can't have that because the moment, and I find that one of the things that I'll say at cookouts, because people will be like, oh, Crystal won't eat this or that, a certain thing. And I'll say certain things like, because, you feel bad or it feels awkward from time to time. So one of the, in terms of the verbiage that I'll use is someone will be like, oh, come on, just have one. You can have a few. It won't kill you. It won't undo all your progress. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. But I'm one of those people that if I have one of them, I'm going to eat all of them. You know what I mean? And then people will go, oh yeah, I totally get it. I'm like, because it's so good, you can't put it down. And then I talk about the little dude in his room who engineers, and then I digress.
But that's great. That's such a good point to leave on. You have a strategy for how to handle that peer pressure. Mm-hmm. You have a way to make it light and kind of make it a joke and for people to just get off your back because it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It does. There's a great book. It's called The Pleasure Trap by Dr. Doug Lisle. I don't know if you've read that, but he has a talk that he does as well. The Pleasure Trap is what it's called. And he talks just about that, of your peers, especially your family members.
Oh, they're the worst.
Noticing the healthy change you're making, and they almost feel and see you as progressing up the social ladder in a way, and that's not safe for them. And so they try to do these things to keep you at the same level as them so that they don't feel bad about themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
call that the crab in your bucket. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen a bucket of crabs, right? If one almost gets out, they pull it back in. Just a natural thing crabs do. Well,
Yeah.
there's people around you that don't let them be crabs in your bucket. Get away from them quick.
But I think I like the idea of sharing, some tips and tricks and different things that we say, like as, I'll say like quote unquote professionals at a barbecue, like when it comes to communication. It's a weird thing to say, but when you're, to be able to share with certain people, because I think that's one of the biggest issues socially is that people are worried about like, well, no, I can't, I hear it all the time. It's the one thing that people will dig their heels in terms of coaching nutrition. And they'll be like, oh, well, I don't want to offend my mother and my sister and my father and this person and like that, and I don't want, I'm like, believe me, it just takes some time. And then people will start to understand, like, you're still the person that they love. You're just making different decisions about what you put inside your body. Like people will start to understand. And if they don't, well,
Tough shit.
tough shit.
And isn't it so funny? You're making these healthy choices so that you can be around to spend more time with them, to do more fun things with them, to like live a better life and not be ill for no, for a preventable reason. So
Right.
Yeah.
getting there, I think. But
I think
this was
so.
a fun one. Thanks so much for your
Yeah.
attention, everyone.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks.
me too.
Thanks for sharing with us, love. And let's talk soon.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Have
Bye.
a great day, honey.